Hello and welcome to this week's weekly Energy Shot podcast. We are Matt Taylor and my name is Nicole Ercolani, and we have decided to produce this podcast series in order to give you a weekly astrological update from Matt, some energy shots, wisdom, coaching tools for your day-to-day life so you can link to the higher realm energies and move your life a little bit more smooth and with more soul purpose. Hi Matt, how are you this week?
I'm very well, thank you. It's good to be here as usual. I'm ready and excited to do our podcast. And well, we're going to talk about more than the week this week because we know we're finishing the astrological year and starting a new one.
Yes. I cannot wait for those news.
Yes. It's a little bit of change, you know, a little bit of freshens the energies, and well, there's still be challenges and good things, but well, at least they're different, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah, but slightly different. So we are coming to the end of Pisces this week, and on Friday, Saturday, we will go into the new moon of Aries. Aries is the first sign of the year, so we really take a lot of interest in the first new moon of the year because it's really the seed level for the whole astrological year. So, you know, these energies that are available to us now are going to set the tone or the theme for the year, you know. So they're very important, and certainly for the month and certainly for the week. So it's very important to sort of like, you know, take a few observations of what the astrology is doing so that we see what's happening in the chart. So a new moon of Aries. Aries is great because it's really going to be a month with a bit of fire. You know, this is a fire sign, and we are not with a lot of fire in the chart. So every time we come to the fire signs, it's great because, well, we get a month of feeling all the fire energies, which are usually things to do with creation, newness, sparks of passion and desire, and starting new things. And you know, and spring is coming as well. So all of these combined energies of Aries and spring and sun, and you know, we're starting to blossom, we're starting to come out, we're starting to show things, all of that. So really, it's the seed level of the year, and we are wanting to insert in something that we want to see grow, we want to see right in the year. So it has a very high level of consciousness in this seed level. So it's exciting to have some fire, you know.
Yeah, I always, when you say that and then the fire starts to kick in, this is when I can create art again. Like I had last year, I didn't create a lot of art, but when I could create art, it was always in the fire signs.
Yeah, it's a very creative element.
Like it's, for me, I need this fire. I cannot like produce it within myself yet. Like I know that there are many artists that can, but I cannot.
Yeah, Aries, as people, if you're born Aries, they usually have some sort of really good eye. Like they have a good eye for fashion or design or, you know, those sorts of things. So yeah, this particular, you know, Aries is great for creativity. It's great for also entrepreneurship because entrepreneurship is about starting new things or starting new businesses or creating something from the ground. So they're very good with new beginnings, new starts. So, you know, this is where we want to bring forward all the things that are new, right? So, this month of Aries is very important for us to really plant what we want to see and grow and start. It's a great seed level beginning energy, you know. So it's very important that we start to think about over this week the kinds of things that we want to see. What's also great about this new moon is that all the planets are direct. We have no retrograde planets. So, you know, all the planets are going the way they're supposed to be going. There's no loop backs, there's no karmic reviews, there's no anything like that. Everything is very forward. The wind is in our sails. Things are going, you know, tremendously forward, right? So that has been the case for the past month. So, you know, we're starting to feel like all of the work that we may have done in the last 6 months of last year that may have been a bit heavier, a bit more of a push, that should start to be seen over the next couple of months, particularly in the month of Aries, right? We should start to see all the shoots of all of our karmic work and our spiritual work coming through. The challenge of the chart is that we have 5 planets in the 12th house, right? The 12th, the chart's divided into houses as well as signs. So houses are really about areas of ownership, like they all have dominion over certain parts of our life. The 12th house is a little unusual because the 12th houses are really about things we can't see, right? So we're going to have 5 planets beginning the year in the 12th house. And the 12th house is about illusions and abundance, right? It's one or the other, right? Yeah. So this can be a house about transcending, growing, developing my unconscious into my conscious. It's about the things that are hidden inside me to be revealed, my hidden gifts, my hidden talents, abundance that is inside me, being able to connect higher and 5 senses reality. So, you know, it's really all these big energy stuff of all the things that are available to me. Even though I can't see them, I know that I have a sense of being able to connect and grow and transform and materialize those things in my reality. On the flip side, the 12th house could also be about deceptions, delusions, things that I can't see. Lack is nothing there for me, sacrificing myself, scarcity, and fake gurus, believing in something that's not there, right? So it's either with the illusions and the things I can't see, I either have tremendous certainty in that it's there and I just need to reveal it, or there's nothing there for me and I'm alone in this world and abandoned and escaped and there's scarcity and nothing. So we will see this test of scarcity or not being able to see something, you see? So it's showing itself up now with like the food, right? So, and the money, right? And all of our resources, particularly, are they there or not? Because they're not on the shelf, right? So it's a test to say, are we going to fall into a movie of scarcity where there's nothing here for me, or there's a lot here for me and I just need to be able to handle it in order to reveal it. To really, that's how we reveal things, is through the process of restriction, right? So I come out of all of my movies of lack. Yeah, we will be dealing with movies of lack a lot, I think, this year, you know, and if I can't see something, usually that triggers that it's not there for me and I can't have it and I'm a victim. This is all very 12th house, right, stuff, all very Piscean stuff, all very Neptune, Jupiter stuff. And Neptune and Jupiter are in Pisces, and now they begin the year in the 12th house. So the scarcity movie, you know, is something we'll be working on. And that can be like a relationship, or it could be a family issue, or it could be, you know, oh, they would never give me enough love. It doesn't have to be material things. It can be non-physical things, that there's never any enough for me and I don't get it and all of that. And once we start with that movie, we actually disconnect from the ability to materialize it. So it's not that miracles are any great, like, it's not that miracles are any great you know, course or technological thing that you need to be able, people manifest, people can't. It's really like looking at the movie inside about where we see lack, right? And usually we then start after that period of lack, there's nothing there for me, I need to get it from outside, I need to get it from someone else, I need to get it from here. And so we go on these great, like, sort of missions to extract that from somebody else or something else, which is a false guru, right? I believe that this will make me happy, I believe that out there will make me feel loved and all of that. And if we don't get it, we perpetuate the movie of I'm not loved and I'm not happy and all of that. And that drives us more into the lack, right? So really the restriction, which is the only thing that's real in this reality, is coming out of that movie and saying, I can handle it. I can have all the abundance. I can have all of that, right? So I can connect to that and I can deal with it, right? Because if I said $1 million, it's here on the table, it's here in front of me. Yeah. It's just in the 99% energetic reality, it already exists. So I can handle it, right? So once we come into that, we're starting to connect to the energy of it. We start to materialize these things. So we are very much with a lot of scarcity movie this year as a test.
Yeah. I think that also really aligns with what's currently going on in world history and in what's being shown on the outside world already. and what people are like, or what is predicted to be the worst case scenario of what's currently going on, right? Like, yeah, you need to build your own food because there will be food restrictions and go and so those ideas of lack.
Well, I mean, it shows up. I mean, I do a Spanish class, and some people say, "Oh, I couldn't get olive oil this week, and I've got 5 bottles in my kitchen." So, do you know what I mean? Like, it's you start to see. You start to go to places where things aren't, and some people start to go places where things are. I'm not saying that I'm so tremendously elevated but
You're at least rich in olive oil.
I'm just using an example, right? So once that's right. It's a metaphor, isn't it? Once you start like not seeing something once, you don't think it's. I just said I went to this shop, and they were like, "Oh, they only said it's not available because they didn't see it in the shop they always go to, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, it's completely gone in the whole world.
It's not there anymore.
That's right. So, but this is such a good metaphor for everything, that we keep showing up in the places it's not there, and we don't make any other options. We don't do any other alternatives to go and find it. We just keep going down the same path and revealing it that it's not there and proving it to ourselves, and that's it. So this is the movie we're going to be really dealing with in this year, I feel, because there's so much Pisces, 12th house, Jupiter, Neptune stuff that is all about abundance and lack.
Yeah, and I feel it's like from I can only speak about my own experience, but what I figured out in the last couple of weeks is I find more and more areas in my life where I'm not fully living in reality. Like there are still in some areas in my life that I do like almost encourage non-realities, like almost not want to see the pure reality. And I see that, very interestingly enough, I see that in my clients as well. Like, how do we deal with reality? And then there is this non-reality that we love to build in our own head, which is like, but it's just not what it is. It's not reflecting the real thing. So, and out of those non-realities, there is an idea of lack. There is an idea of disconnection. There is an idea of false security. There is an idea, but it's all not real. And abundance can only be experienced when there is a willingness to experience reality.
Yeah, that's right. The willingness to say I can handle it, right? I can have it. But really, if we root it down, the reason that we think there's a lack is because we can't handle it, which is what people don't want to hear. No, I really want it. I really think I should have it. I really deserve it. It's really what I want. But well, it would have revealed, right? So there's some blockage, as you say, that in the ability to think that we can handle it, right? So it's true. This is a very big, like, I think we've outlined what the issue is, but this is going to be a very big sort of piece of spiritual work that we're going to be thrust into.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. The other thing that is quite interesting is that there's quite a bit of like energy in Aquarius. So we have Saturn and Mars conjunct. So Saturn is very much about where I restrict, where I put like in boundaries, where I put in like, the markers. And this is the balancer of the cosmos. It's the karmic accountant, right? If we are doing spiritual work and we're living in a movie that is too wide, it comes in and gives us a prickly lesson and moves us back into some kind of balance, right? So we can never really get, like, human beings can get pretty out of control, but we can never really get out there because Saturn really like is the karma master. So we have to go through prickly lessons from the universe, and this is what Saturn sends, right? Unless we're doing spiritual work, and then it kind of like, it gives us things that are challenges, that are earnings that we can go to our next level. So it's a real like one or the other with Saturn. It can be really like this, or it can be like, okay, here's a challenge and this is what your next level is. But it's always the tough master, So it's in Aquarius, which is the sign of really about humanity, charities, volunteering, giving things, you know, looking after others on a very picture level. It's also about technology, science. It's also about collapsing things and making things feel more equalized. Really, at the heart of it, what it is it's at the atom. Aquarius is an energy, right? It's about vibration. So we really feel the bigger vibrations, the bigger things about how we help others or how we look after others, and that movie. Now, if we combine the two things about lack and looking after others, this really gives a movie that could possibly put us in exile, right? That put us away from humanity. It's like the movie where I gave everything to this situation. I gave everything up, and now I feel like I didn't, and so I shoot myself out into feeling like I'm now on my own, right? Aquarius, Pisces energies, 11th house, 12th house energies all have this very singular but collective approach, right? So if we're not dealing with the collective properly, we could feel in exile. I could feel everyone's abandoned me, everything has left me, there's no one here for me, there's nothing here for me, I'm out on my own, right? Or we get to play a role where I'm really the cause for what's happening in my reality, and the people that show up in my reality by my sharing, which is different to my overgiving or my depletion or my martyring or my sacrificing or my rebellious nature that takes me away and says I gave everything up for this and nothing happened, right? So this is very Piscean age. It's very possibility of Aquarius age, where we're all rebels and we all go out on our own way, right? And we have to be with the collective, but we have to be strong in ourselves at the same time in order to deal with the collective and how we can be more sharing, but not let it feel like it's abandoning us.
I think with the collective, like I work a lot with collective energies because I always it's part of my job to do collective work. And what I find really interesting is the understanding that there can be a collective field where the collective is having, for example, a certain thought pattern or a certain truth that they agree upon, and that you as an individual, you don't have to participate in this truth, and if you do participate in this truth, it has something to do with you, and like to understand
I love that. It's really like, this is really what the energy is.
Yeah, and it
really
has like it has a like, if you agree upon the collective truth, it always has a very associated truth within. That means you feel that this is your truth, and you're starting to, that's how war exists, by the way. That's how those things happen, because whenever someone feels that the collective truth is my truth, and I have to fight for those values, and I have to protect those values. And it's the same, by the way, in the spiritual community. The spiritual community does that as well. It's like, oh, I'm a light worker, and all those dark beings, and or with the pandemic and corona and the vaccine, pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, like it's all collective truths. And it's like, the question is always, how do you identify with the collective game of duality? And are you still triggered of some part of it and associated with it or not? And just to be very clear on record for once, whenever you're associating with one or the other of collective truths, of good or bad, or light and dark, or pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, pro-war, anti-war, I don't know. Whenever you do that, that means that you play the duality game. That means that you're not in a neutral state, in a consciousness state. That means that, and it's only partially also. And like, I think the game in the collective energies is like how to disconnect, how to dissociate from collective truths and still be with an open heart. And still know that you're part of this collective, still not feel disconnected completely from the society.
And and the thing about Aquarius and Pisces energy is it's the consciousness piece, right?
Yeah.
We grow in our consciousness and awareness, and it kind of protects us from it anyway, because because we can see and we're in it, but we're outside of it at the same time. Mati o mati, it's called Kabbalistically, where you're in it and outside of it at the same time, right?
Oh, I knew that the Kabbalists have a name for that. I love it so much.
Yeah, this is where you're in it, but you're also out of it. Like
Yeah.
you have to, we're obviously here in the human body together, and we're going through something that was predetermined, and we have to go through it, and there's something here for us as a lesson and to transform. We're not in complete denial about it. We're not like, suppressing about it, but also not to be, as you said, it's so great what you said, because I think it sums up what the astrology is beautifully, is also that there are malakis of stories out there all dreamed up from nowhere, that really people come to the belief that it's actually really happening that way, and we get stuck in this is what I was talking a little bit, or we were talking about last week, was this getting stuck in one way of only seeing something is very negative Aquarius energy, right?
Yeah.
This is the dogma that Aquarius can bring with it. Oh, it's like this, and I'm so stuck in it now that that's only truth that exists, and there is no truth in the end. It's only the growth of consciousness. And so this is what Aquarius and Pisces energy do well together, that if we're conscious and we're growing in our consciousness about an awareness and being connected to the greater mind out there, that we have a path for us through this within the collective itself. Yeah.
Totally.
I love that.
Me too.
So I think that's very high level thinking, and then we have to break it down to something practical, right? We have to say like, okay, so you're in a community, you're in a society, you're in a town, you're in a group of friends, right? Or look at all the places, your collectives besides your family, outside of the family. Where are the collectives? Your teammates, your all of that. They're all little collectives, and they're right. Just be aware of the stories that are being fed to you, and see if they resonate really, like in your own time when you have a moment to yourself, just really connect into the greater, and see if you can connect not to the story so much, but more to what is the lesson here that I'm experiencing that is asking me to transform and to grow. It sort of taps into this Saturn energy, because like if we're not transforming and growing, we really get the hard prickly lesson on the backside that smacks us along, that we don't like, right? What we do want is to be proactive in our growing and in our sharing and in our transformation and becoming greater beacons of light, and to share. And that way we get sort of we get challenges, but they're more merciful, they're more kinder, they're more softer and compassionate. You can go, oh, I learned something today, rather than, oh, I learned something today. Yeah, exactly. So it's very it's very spiritual, because we're with Aquarius, we're with Pisces, a lot of energy. These are the last two signs. So as we've gone around the astrological calendar, we've really got like the higher spiritual elements in the last two signs. Yeah. So even though we're studying a very new year, and right at the base level, we've got a lot of energies in spiritual elements. I mean, like, I haven't done a past life regression for a while, but I am already, people are more with this.
Oh yeah, I do.
Really seeing it coming through
in the last 2 weeks,
because I do different things, right? And I find like last year was very astrology. Like I've never done more charts than ever, right? So it was that. But this year I feel it's a little bit like more medicinal, more like I need to see the bigger picture. What is my soul doing this life, that life, all of that? How can I change it? I'm feeling like it's more in the, as I said before, in the unconscious. What is happening here that I can see, but I can't pinpoint why. And things like regressions and deep meditations that reveal things really help.
I have experienced exactly the same. Since like 3 weeks, I do so many past life regressions. Just because like, also like for me, the veils are like lifted so heavily. Yes. Like it's almost like I meet people and you can tell like while they're speaking what's going on, and it's like very open. That's what I don't know, maybe that's this trans Pluto influence as well, because he's like a door opener, not?
Yeah, it's the lift, right? And it's in Virgo at the moment, which is a lot about cleansing and healing, and right?
I feel that totally, like in my work.
Like you said before about the veils being lifted, like we want to go above this kind of separation world where things look very blocked and separated, and see that bigger transcendent picture. So those things will be themes, right? And so in practical ways, they will play out. But we speak to the bigger theme. You have to apply it in your own life practically. We gave you some examples, right? So see.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Is there anything else going on for you?
I think that's enough for like the root level of the year. I mean, these are the notes that I had. I don't think there's anything else. One more thing. In the first house, which is the house of really like how I want, it's really how the world is going to make see itself more obviously, right? Is Uranus. Uranus in Taurus is in the first house. So Uranus is about taking Taurus, is about very concrete, solid, physical, earthy things. This could include real estate, could include finances, work, the physical world, the body. And Taurus is in there, which is about, Uranus is about, it's sort of about, it's a transformer, it's a changer, but it's very radical. But it also, for me, has an element of disappearing, right? So you have Taurus, which is very physical, and I can see it. And this is the physical things that I do in my day, and the physical things that I'm involved with my body and my money and my work and my stuff, right? And Taurus is ruled by Venus, so it's all about being pretty and beautiful and non-confrontational and lovely and harmonious. So it's very good with peace, it's very good with harmony, right? But it's not so good with shaking things up. So Uranus, I keep saying Taurus. So the planet Uranus is in Taurus, and this is a very opposite feel. It's like, let's shake things up, let's radicalize things, let's make things like kind of evaporate. Because Uranus is very much with the science and the atoms, and it makes things like more in the 99%, more in the energetic realm, right? So we will start seeing more physical things disappearing. And I mean, that started to happen in 2018 when Uranus went into Taurus. And the main thing I can think about is money. It's disappearing. You can't see it anymore, right? It's not a physical thing anymore. Now, for the body, we need that, right? But how will that play out with the Uranus thing? It could be, as I said, Uranus brings in the atoms, so we start to see perhaps the idea of living longer, but living more from the soul, from the atom, from the energy. So energy, and like you see it a little bit with energy, the energy movie now, right? Let's go to atomic energy. Let's go to nuclear energy. Let's go to energy that we can't see, right? It's not with the sun, it's not with the wind, it's something with the atom, right?
Also quantum physics, maybe?
Quantum physics. So this means, that's right. So Kabbalistically, we know that we live forever, or the body just disappears, even though the person is still there. Even though the person is still there, it disappears, right? That is what we call death, right? I can't see the person anymore. I can only see the physical, but the physical is under the ground or whatever, but the energy of me lives on forever. So does this start to mean, like, as you said, nanotechnology, quantum physics, all of those things, that the things that start to die in us actually become resurrected or living forever? So this kind of notion of life after, which is past life regression, like all the different lives and stuff like that, but also in the science world of tapping more into nanotechnology, tapping more into quantum physics, believing we can heal ourselves with the right tools, which is partly mind, but also other tools that are laid down from the ancients. So all of this idea that the ancients laid down about really this longevity that we can have with our life, I think will start to come through as an idea even more, and we'll start to see the integration of technology and science with our physical body in that way.
What's also really interesting, I think, here in Switzerland, we have the CERN, which is they're doing studies, and there are a lot of scientists working there, which is in quantum physics. And what they want to do is they really want to build a black hole. They're like working with particles which are getting together to create
Right.
black holes. So that all is like going on to create energy on planet Earth.
So the
And
metaverse is another thing, like living in a world that is you can't see but is feels real. All of that. So all of that will continue, I think. And this, great science and
amazing.
What's here and what's not here is going to be, coming through a lot more as a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
I think you gotta go. It was ringing on the door.
I think it's just my mailman, actually.
Oh,
he's all right.
Okay, good.
Someone else
Now,
will let him in.
how do you know how long Uranus will stay in Taurus? Like,
yeah, it's quite interesting. Uranus is there till about 2026, so we have another three,
yeah. So
4 years.
I felt that, yeah.
Right. So with that, and the Neptune in Pisces is there to 2025, and Pluto in Capricorn is there to the next year. So these are the three planets furthest from the sun. These are the three that really make big themes in the world, and they're all shifting over the middle part of this decade, and they stay in signs for between 8 and 14 years. So we're really ending a cycle that started at the beginning of around 2008 to 2012.
Yeah.
Right. And then Uranus did another change into Taurus in 2019. But by 2025, 26, we're really it's going to be heavier because those planets are finishing off like cycles together, and they're at the end of signs together. But then after that, they start new things. So by the end of this decade, we will end up being a new new themes and new reality of what that looks like. So people, last year, people are getting a bit impatient and say, oh, next year I feel it's going to be great. But really it's just wishful thinking. It's really more of the same, just more intense,
It's interesting because the Maya.
But we will see, sorry, I cut you off there, but we will definitely see, say in 2 years' time, the shifting starting to happen. Over 2024, 25, 26, the shift into the new, definitely happen.
The Mayas, it's really interesting. I work with a Mayan timekeeper, and they say that this next big shift is from 2022 now to 2026. And it's about to create the sensitivity to work with the metaphysics,
right,
and metaphysical energies. And then from 26 till 36, there will be another cycle where we have to do learnings, and then we're moving on into the new.
Yeah. Well, it's just what we're talking about, right? It's all about the unseen world and
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that it's so aligning, even though, the Kabbalists were there 6,000, 5,000 years ago. The Mayas were there thousands of years ago as well. But they were so far apart of each other, like on other continents, in other realities. And even though they were, the teachings are exactly the same. That's beautiful.
Yes, we're tapping definitely more into the metaphysical.
Yeah, I think so too. Amazing. All right. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Thanks, guys, for listening to our podcast. If you have questions or anything you want to add or anything you want to know, we are happy to help and have your feedbacks on what we do. And we wish you an amazing week. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, kapow.